We're back for another edition of the Web Insurance Countdown to Kickoff on 1150 WIMA. It is week 5, so we hit the halfway point. Todd Walker here along with Mike Miller and Jason Aldrich as we review last week and look forward to this week's slate of games as week 5 is here. And of course we offer our sage picks. And as is the norm, the cream is starting to rise to the top.
Where are we at? How we doing?
I'm back up front where I've historically been. No. What happened last week? Because I don't really know.
Last week, not good for Messrs. Miller, Aldrich.
Oh.
Very good for yours truly.
Put it into context. What did we see?
Miller 2-3,
Right.
Aldrich 3-2, Walker 4-1. So to recap, the last 3 weeks, I am 14-1.
I know last week I took Columbus Grove just to be contrary and have a little fun with you guys.
Of course.
Right.
And it is fun to win.
Right.
So I appreciate that. Well, as we review last week's picks, it gives us a chance to talk about those games from last week. One that was a split decision was the St. John's Anna game. And as I wrote on my blog, what a fantastic finish. Anna's driving for what looks like going to be a game-winning TD at home. And all of a sudden, pick 6, 90-some yards, and St. John's wins. What an incredible ending that was. Heartbreak for Anna and a season saver for the Jays.
Saw the clip on Ryan Denzel with the interception for St. John's. Of course, I think I picked Anna in that game. I did see Coach Schulte on Sunday at the Canal Days Parade, and he looked like he was in a really good frame of mind.
Oh, well, he should be. And to review the picks, I picked St. John's, you guys picked Anna. But that truly was one of those pick-em games, and it was a little more high-scoring than we thought, but I think St. John's is starting to find a little bit of offense, guys. We talked about their quarterback problem. They had to bring in one after an injury and lost so many playmakers on offense, but it seems like they're starting to get a little bit of rhythm going offensively. You don't want to play the Jays as the season goes on. You would have liked to have already played them because they're just getting better every week.
You know what's equally interesting about them? Prior to last year and the year previous, where they virtually won every game other than that one state title game, they have shown this kind of trend. They may drop a non-conference game or two, then all of a sudden they're up front in the league because they haven't lost any league games.
Right.
So you're dead on with Delta St. John's. Don't sleep on the Jays.
You know, the other game that we all missed on was Bath St. Mary's, and I think a lot of people were surprised. Bath, and I don't want to take anything away from St. Mary's because they found a passing game, but Bath is abysmal at covering the pass, and give St. Mary's all the credit for taking advantage. But the thing that really puzzled me about Bath was offensively, they seemed to get away from what they had been doing. We saw a lot more of a pass look, attempts to throw the ball. I'm wondering if Aaron Smith maybe was a little bit dinged up from the previous 2 weeks of really being the hoss. When I talked to Coach Miller before the game, he mentioned that Aaron wasn't quite 100%. I don't know. Maybe that was why they strayed a little bit from just pounding away. But Bath really licking their wounds now as they get back to business this week. They should get a win at Van Wert, but really that was a very disappointing loss for the Wildcats last week.
And was it as much a disappointing loss as it was, from your perspective, a disappointing performance, quite frankly?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. You know, and when Bath played Wapakoneta, of course, I called that game. I was a little equally not as impressed with their passing attack as I thought I might have been. You know, Brad Davis certainly is very capable. I thought he was gimpy the night I saw him, that he didn't appear to be 100% healthy. Did you get any sense of his lack of mobility?
No, in fact, that was the other part of the equation last week. Brad Davis ran a lot more than we've seen him, and they were designed runs. In fact, he scored 2 touchdowns. So, regardless, Bath, a disappointing loss. They should win tonight at Van Wert to try to get back on track. Also, last week, Shawnee Kenton, we all had Kenton, and Shawnee kept that close for a while, but Kenton was too much for him. We all had Wapak over Salina. That was a relative laugher. And then the game of the week was Columbus Grove at LCC on Saturday night, and me and Jason had the T-Birds. Mike had the Bulldogs. LCC won that 28-7, and so far, guys, LCC's had 2 big testers, St. John's, Columbus Grove, and they've passed both of them, and they appear to be gaining steam as well, as they'll be back in action tomorrow night again at Delphus Jefferson. So the Birds are, I guess, deserving the number 1 ranking in D5.
And certainly the favorite tomorrow night at Stadium Park. But Jefferson's not a bad football team. They've been competitive. They've put some points on the board. So I think that'll be an interesting test. Somehow Delphus is going to have to figure out how to just slow down the T-Bird offense.
So the overall standings now, yours truly at 16-4, Miller at 13-5, Aldrich at 12-8. So that gives me a 3-game bulge.
Two game over me.
3, 16, 13.
Oh, okay, very good. I'm gonna have to quit taking these flyers and make the obvious picks and not doing any favorites.
That and I may have to go away from the coin, but I've got it here just in case.
Yeah, I see you got the coin. Let's look at this week's slate and see what we got. Let's start with our broadcast game. We will have Elida on our airwaves for the first time this season as they visit Shawnee, and really a playoff eliminator. You got to think for Shawnee. If they should lose this game, they will have 3 losses. Going to be really tough to get back in the playoff picture for Elida. They're trying to keep moving ahead after losing an early season showdown game of the Western Buckeye League to Wapakoneta. Mike, you've seen Elida. You have not seen Shawnee yet, but how do you look at this game tonight?
I look at this game as kind of with you. It's actually for Elida also. This is sort of a do or die game for the playoffs, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, not 100% so, but you need to continue to win. And I don't think Elida really has been tested since Wapakoneta. They failed that test. And the big thing for me, Elida failed that test because they were out physical by Wapakoneta. And I suspect there might be more of the same tonight over at Shawnee. Certainly the McAdams to Austin Etzler passing, and some of the other Stinson, very capable receivers, and actually Blymeyer is very good also. But Shawnee's a good defensive football team. I'm going to pick Shawnee in a close game because it's a big rivalry game, and Shawnee's got their backs against the wall.
Jason, how you see it?
I've got Elida with too much firepower on offense. I'm taking the Dogs.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick Elida too. I think they'll put more points on the board than Shawnee can answer with. I will say this for Shawnee, if they get their passing game clicking with Seth Rosenbauer, if he can find his accuracy coming back from the shoulder surgery, that's been their main problem. They've had some openings in the passing game, but they have not been able to convert in some of their games. And you're going to need somewhere in the 20s tonight to have a chance. And I just think Elida's going to outscore them.
How is Shawnee? Is their offensive line very capable, though? They've
Yeah,
got
I
some
think.
runners?
Yeah, I think Shawnee will be able to move the ball tonight.
Okay.
I think they'll run the ball. They'll move the ball. After all, they've had some success against Ottawa Glandorf moving the football. I think it'll be a relatively high-scoring game, but I think Elida has a little bit too much.
Right.
Staying in the WBL, the game of the night tonight, no question, is OG at Kenton. Both teams are 4-0. And this has been the best rivalry game in the Western Buckeye League for many years now. And OG is the team that always seems to have the recipe. Remember the Detroit Pistons had the Jordan rules? Well, OG, they've got the Mock rules. They've been able to slow down the various Mocks that have been at the helm of the Kenton offense, and they've won their share of games. However, I'm taking Kenton tonight. I think Ottawa Glandorf a little bit too one-dimensional offensively. I don't see the playmakers in the passing game that they've had in the past. Not that they threw it a lot, but I think they were more able to diversify offensively than they are now. And Matty Mock may run for 200 yards tonight if OG plays that just drop everybody defense they've done. But I think this will be a good contest, but I'm going to take Kenton.
I've picked against Ottawa Glandorf and gotten burned already this year. I've gone with Kenton and, of course, am perfect. I think you go with the home team here tonight. I'm going to go Wildcats.
Although, you should make note that Ottawa Glandorf's won 2 of the last 3 times they've been to Kenton. Although last time they were there, they did lose. Mike, who you got?
I'll tell you, I'm so impressed with Ottawa Glandorf and what they did to a pretty decent Defiance team last weekend. Just pounded them on the ground. And this Ottawa Glandorf team really has 3 very capable runners. I'm going to take Ottawa Glandorf. I know it's difficult to go against Kenton at home, and I so respect Matty Mock and what he can do with their attack. And, of course, Fackler's an outstanding player on the defensive side. I'm not convinced that Kenton can slow down Ottawa Glandorf's rushing attack. And having said that, I surely trust Ken Schreiner to come up with some gimmick to try to slow down Mike Mock's offense. So I'm going to take the Titans on the road in a slight upset.
All right, so we've got 2 picks in the books. Let's go to the Northwest Conference, where Spencerville visits Columbus Grove tonight. Grove coming off that loss to LCC. Spencerville, after a 22-game losing streak, is 3-1. They were routed by the best team they played, Ada. And it leads you to believe, though, that Spencerville gaining steam, Grove coming off a tough loss, a short week from Saturday to Friday. Is there an upset in the air at Clymer Stadium, Jason Aldrich?
I was thinking about the coin here, but no. And not taking anything away from Spencerville at all. Having a great year, and I think they'll continue to have a great year, but I'm going to go with Columbus Grove to rebound tonight at home.
Mike?
I'm a big fan of John Zerby. I was so impressed with John on our Coach's Corner segment last Saturday morning, but I think for Spencerville, the big fear is looking ahead and becoming intimidated because it's Columbus Grove tonight, it's Lima Central Catholic next week, it's Bluffton the week after. It's really the NWC Murderers Row for 2011. I think this is where the Bearcats come back down to earth, although they'll put up a good battle tonight. Columbus Grove is a tough out at home, and tonight is not the night. I'm picking the Bulldogs.
And I've got the Bulldogs all the way at Clymer Stadium. How about Bluffton at Ada? Ada's only loss, a narrow loss to Columbus Grove. Bluffton's coming off that loss to Crestview, a bit of a surprise last week. I think Ada's got too much firepower for Bluffton. I'm going to take the Bulldogs at home.
I agree. I'm going with Ada. I think Bluffton's confidence may have got shot down a little bit by that loss at home to Crestview.
Michael?
Ada, I in fact spoke with Connor Baker's older brother Kyle last week over at Ohio Northern. He got dinged up a little bit over there. I asked him how good is Connor and the Bulldogs. He says they're not going to lose again, so I'm going to have to pick Ada tonight.
Well, there's some inside dope. We'll get you for insider trading next week.
Right.
Final pick of the week, we're going to take the Versailles Coldwater game. This one for first place in the MAC. Coldwater's 3-1 with a loss to Kenton, and Versailles undefeated. Both teams are 2-0 in the league. Personally, I think Versailles may be overrated. I know they're rated in the polls, but they give up way too many points, and they score a lot against bad teams. They have not beaten anybody any good. I'm taking Coldwater, and I don't think it's even going to be close. Jason?
I'm going to lean with you as well, Todd, and take Coldwater at home. I mean, you've got to be somewhat impressed with what Versailles has done as far as putting up points this year, Mike.
I'm saying the Versailles Tigers are back, and it's going to be an eye-opener tonight down in Coldwater. Kenton lit up Coldwater, and I think Versailles can light up the Cavaliers also. I'm taking Versailles.
Wow.
Well, Mike, it looks like you're taking 3 losses this week, but hey, that's just the way it goes. That rounds up our round table. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from some area coaches about their matchups tonight. It's the Web Insurance Countdown to Kickoff on 1150 WIMA.